I wanted to share a little bit with you about my story and how I both got into real estate and kind of my journey over the last 18 years of my career and how I ultimately ended up at eXp Realty in January of 2022. I come from a military family and we moved around all the time. I was the oldest of 3 kids. I have a younger brother and a younger sister. My dad was gone a lot. He was a tanker, so there were many months when he was gone the majority of the month, and my mom was in charge and I was kind of her helper. So I took on a lot of responsibility at a young age, had to always figure out how to do things, how to solve problems, how to make things happen. And I loved it. I really relished that role in my family. And as I've gotten older and older, I've always had positions where I've had a lot of responsibility and always jobs where I was expected to solve problems, make things happen. And obviously real estate ended up being a great fit for me because that's what we do as realtors, right? We solve problems, we make things happen, we connect people, we get things done that other people might not be able to get done. When I graduated from college, I went right into graduate school and I got my MBA and I started working in software companies in Austin, Texas. And this was when the high-tech startups were going through their boom. It was a really exciting time to be in the high-tech industry. I learned everything about how to run a company, had a ton of responsibility, and really enjoyed it. I did that for about 5 years. And then my husband surprised the heck out of me and decided to join the military. So we moved from Austin, Texas to Fayetteville, North Carolina, which is where Fort Bragg is, a very large Army installation. And surprise, surprise, there were no software companies that I could go apply at in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So after working from home for a year, we had just bought our first property and decided that I was really interested in real estate. We had had a pretty good experience buying our first home. Of course, there was a couple of things I thought that I could have probably done better, but I was really interested in it. And so I decided to go ahead and get my real estate license, and that was in 2005. So I got my license and I immediately went to work for the top producing agent in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Her name is Donna Clayton Lloyd, and she's still my mentor to this day. I worked with Donna for 2 years and she taught me everything that I know about real estate. It was a fantastic learning opportunity. We probably worked with about 100 clients in that 2-year period, and it was the best decision that I honestly could have made at the start of my real estate career, is partnering with somebody who had a ton of experience, was influential in the community, had a ton of connections, and really taught me how to do things the right way. I worked with Donna for 2 years, and then my husband got transferred out to Fort Carson, Colorado Springs. Started my own very small brokerage there, mainly did a lot of referral work while I was raising my daughter. And then after a couple of years, my husband decided to get out of the military and we moved back to Northern Virginia. So Northern Virginia is home for me. I went to high school here and my parents were still living here, and this is where we have now settled. So we've been in Northern Virginia now for 12 years. And I started out my Virginia real estate career as the operations manager for a top producing team for about 2 years. And then I went out on my own and got my license in Virginia about 10 years ago. Pretty much started a team right away. And at that point I was at Keller Williams, learned a lot. I have a lot of love and respect for Keller Williams. All of their training and education was really impactful and beneficial for me, and definitely learned a lot there that I absolutely still use every single day in my real estate career. So I worked there at Keller Williams for about 5 years, and like I said, I really enjoyed it. It taught me a lot about growing a team. But what I found is that really when I looked at my calendar for the week, I had so many brokerage related activities on my calendar that I almost felt like I should have been on payroll. It was constant brokerage duties between mentoring the new agents and teaching classes, serving on the Agent Leadership Council, attending team meetings. Sometimes there would be weeks where it was 15 or 20 hours out of my week just spent on brokerage activities. And I realized that there was no way, as a mother with young kids who I wanted to prioritize, how could I really grow my business when I was spending that much time on Keller Williams activities. So I started looking around, decided to make a change. By that time I was vested in the profit share system, and I still am. I still receive some checks from them. So I do understand how profit share works, and that is a perk of Keller Williams. Then I decided to move over to a regional brokerage called Pearson Smith. Pearson Smith is a brokerage in 3 states, Virginia, Maryland, and DC, and they've actually added West Virginia, so it's actually 4 states. Worked there for about 5 years and had a lot of fun at Pearson Smith. They have fantastic parties, really, really fun, people, enjoyed working there. But I actually found that I missed part of what I had left Keller Williams for. Wasn't really asked to teach a lot of classes, wasn't really plugged in too much into the brokerage, didn't really feel like I had a lot of relationships with the top producers, and basically I felt pretty lonely. I was always having to go outside of the brokerage to find the tools that would help me to grow my business, and that's expensive. I was spending a lot of money on coaching, a lot of money traveling places, trying to connect with people who were doing way more business than I was, who could teach me how to do things that I wasn't learning at the more local brokerage. So I stayed there for about 5 years, and then I started hearing a lot about eXp. And I've been hearing about eXp for many years, but I was pretty turned off, to be honest. Some of the people that I knew that had gone over and hung their license at eXp just weren't people who I really was interested in aligning with. So I would usually just kind of ignore the calls when I would get calls from people to learn more about eXp. And I just really closed my mind off from it and was trying to search for other options. So I interviewed with a lot of other brokerages. I did a ton of research. I interviewed agents who I'm friends with, who I respect, who are at other companies, just asking a ton of questions and really trying to understand what my best options were. Should I go back to Keller Williams? Should I do a Remax or a Long & Foster? Another cloud-based brokerage, another small company? Should I open up my own brokerage? A lot of people have asked me about that. So I really investigated a lot of different options in my quest to try to make sure that I had made the right decision. I'm not somebody who likes to change brokerages all the time. I wanted to really pick a good company and then be able to just stay with them. So I started hearing about some pretty heavy hitters that were going over to eXp, and these were people that were totally different from the people that I had heard about in the beginning. These were some top agents who I really had a lot of respect and trust and admiration for, and people who I really respect their judgment, and I feel like they make really good decisions. And I thought, well, if they thought that this was the best decision for them, then it's probably something that I should at least look into. So very begrudgingly, I made the phone calls to some of those agents in my area who I had heard had switched over and started hearing their stories and what had convinced them to go over to eXp. And the more research that I was doing, the more I started thinking, wow, this is actually a no-brainer. This opportunity is pretty amazing. And I almost thought it was too good to be true. So I definitely asked a ton of questions, did all of my homework, because I did not want to make the wrong decision. So that was probably about a year before I actually switched. So I spent 12 whole months researching, doing my due diligence, asking questions, and then finally made the decision in, I would say, the fall of 2021 to go ahead and move my license over. And I did that in January of 2022. So a lot of people ask me, why did you switch? I get calls almost every week from agents who I've worked with or agents who I've taught in class, and they're asking me why I made the switch. And I'm always happy to have those conversations with people. And really it boils down to 3 reasons. And I would say the first reason is the collaboration. So at eXp, you're going to align with a sponsor, and that sponsor is part of a downline. So there's many different downlines at eXp, and the downline that I decided to align with is called Fast Forward Movement. And this is a line that several agents locally in my market are in, and then above them, there's several agents that started that group that are in San Diego. And what I realized is that trends really usually in real estate initiate on the West Coast. So I'm able to plug into weekly sessions with these agents that are out in the San Diego market, and they are willingly sharing with me all of the tips, the tools, what they're using to grow their teams out in that market. And these are people that have teams that do 600 to 700 transactions a year. And they are freely sharing. And part of the reason why they're doing that, it's not just because they're nice people and they want to share, it's because they have they are going to financially benefit from closings that we do here in Virginia because we're part of their downline. And at first I thought, I don't know if I like the feel of that. I always thought that people should just share for the sake of sharing. And then what I started understanding is that as agents get busier and busier, they are prioritizing their family, they're prioritizing their team. And I didn't really want to just be calling random people all the time and, quote, picking their brain to ask for advice. I I realized that I really wanted to be financially aligned with agents where they stand to get something out of my success, and I'm more than happy to give that to them. So I don't feel bad calling them with questions. I don't feel like I'm taking advantage of their time. They want to help me. And so the Fast Forward movement has a couple of conference calls every single week. So I'm able to plug in, as well as my administration staff, to the Fast Forward movement and learn from them, ask questions whenever I need something. And so I don't feel lonely anymore. I feel like I have all these people above me, and they all want to see me succeed, and they're willing to do whatever they need to do to help me to succeed. And that is an incredible feeling. It's almost like coaching is included in my brokerage alignment, which is fantastic. And I haven't heard of that at any other brokerage to the extent that it exists at eXp. I also get to see these people. We have events. I just attended a shareholders meeting in Orlando, Florida, where I got to see a lot of the members of the eXp upline that I'm in. I've flown out to San Diego and actually gotten to visit both of the offices of the people who started this, Dan Beer and Kyle Whistle. That was a fantastic experience. So I'm really on a first name basis with these people, and they will take my call when I ask them for something, which is absolutely huge and really cuts the learning curve down. So I really can't recommend Fast Forward movement highly enough if you're choosing to align with eXp. And the way that it works is I'm looking for people who want to have the benefit of what I can offer as far as knowledge and expertise. And so when I'm picked as someone's sponsor, I'm available for them. Whatever questions they have, I'm happy to help. All the way up to everybody above me is there to serve you as an agent, which is pretty unbelievable, I believe. The second thing that, second reason why I wanted to align with eXp is the revenue share program. So like I just said, that financial benefit. So this is real money. It's very different from the Keller Williams profit share program, which I'm still a part of. So I definitely have firsthand knowledge of profit share. Revenue share is based on the transactions that agents do. It is not tied to the profitability of any certain office. So we receive revenue share if agents in our upline have closings, regardless of whether the office has a bad month or the office has a lot of expenses. None of that matters. So the money that agents are receiving from revenue share versus profit share, it's not even comparable. There's a huge difference to it. And many agents have found a lot of success with growing their downlines, and then they give back to those agents, they help them, and then they're able to benefit from that financially, as well as helping the agents under them to grow their downlines as well. So that was the second reason why I wanted to align with eXp. The third reason is the stock program. So eXp rewards agents for having closings, for capping, for bringing on, for attracting new team members, for attracting agents that join eXp in general, not even on their team. We get stock awards for that. There's also a stock purchase plan where I'm able to have a certain part of my paycheck go towards purchasing stock shares at a discount, which to me is huge. So especially right now, it's a fantastic time to be amassing all of these shares since the entire stock market is down and eXp is on such a huge growth trajectory. It's very exciting for me to think about where those stocks will be in the future. The stocks that I'm purchasing, obviously those are available immediately to me whenever I want to sell them. The stock that I'm gifted, I'm allowed to sell that within 3 years is how that plan works. So it's very exciting that I'm receiving all of these stock options in exchange just for doing the things that I would normally do and that I've done at many other brokerages. So those are the three reasons why I decided to align with eXp and why I'm incredibly excited about this opportunity. And I almost feel a duty to make sure that all of my agent friends and anybody who wants to hear more about this opportunity reaches out to me, because I would love to have a conversation with you, answer your questions, explain more about what I can personally offer as a sponsor, and explain more to you about this amazing company, really a gift that Glenn Sanford has given all of us is how I look at it. And I just want to share that excitement with you. So if you're interested in learning more about partnering with me at eXp, please reach out to me, and I would love to start a conversation with you and get you started on this amazing journey. Thank you.